So, here we are again, about to release our second full-length video. My name is Chef C.R. Defuoco, and this is Jezia's Refined Dining. This week, I'm going to be preparing wild fallow deer that we got from Broken Arrow Ranch, our friends out in Texas. We're sponsored this time by Kutara Knives. So you're going to see us utilizing that Hakun cleaver that I alluded to and I gave a review in the previous video that we released on Monday. So please go check that out if you want to get a little more information on that and of course more specifics on the venison. Now with that said, we're going to be headed down to my buddy Matt's house this week as we're going to use his smoker as we prepare all this great food for our friends and family. In addition to that, I have made some different changes to the video this time around. I'm going to be including a little bit more of the recipe details throughout the portion. That way the measurements can be exactly right. In addition to that, we listened to a lot of the various feedback from our first video last week. So thanks to everyone who have been watching and subscribing. So of course, if you like this new video, please subscribe, like, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Otherwise, we're excited to bring you this week's video. Now, I am going to prepare a couple of items here before we go and head down to Matt's. So I've got a real nice mushroom spice. It's really more of a mushroom salt, I should say. That's more porcinis and maitake and a little bit of hemp seed. So it's really good. We're going to put that in we're going to use that in a couple of different ways. And then I'm also preparing a wine reduction that takes about 2 hours. So you guys want to pay close attention to that because it's real temperature sensitive, but it's absolutely amazing with venison. So check it out, and let's go ahead and show you that before we head down to Matt's. So something you guys are going to notice during the course of this reduction is I'm going to continuously stir it every 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm never allowing it to get to a full rolling boil, just a nice light boil, low to medium to low heat. And I'm going to check the level of it. I want to make sure that it slowly reduces down to just over half an inch. And you're going to notice that I check the texture of it right before I add the cornstarch. So keep an eye on that, and again, never let that overboil because you will just make a super bitter reduction. And so see that level right there? Perfect. Now let's get the cornstarch mixture going, which is just 1 tablespoon of cornstarch mixed with 1 tablespoon of water, equal parts cool water. Stir it up, make sure there's no lumps, and go ahead and pour that on in. Now the cornstarch is not going to actually thicken up the sauce until it's reached a certain temperature. So make sure that you do not walk away from this pot during that period of time. Alright, get this nice and strained, cool it, put it into a pint container, probably about a half a pint. And now we're going to take our prepped items and head on down to Matt's. Alright, so here we are at my buddy Matt's house, and he is giving us the opportunity to use his smoker as he does so often. And we all have that same common problem in Florida where if you live in a condo, you don't have the opportunity to own a smoker. But thankfully, you got great friends with great smokers. With that said, Matt, introduce yourself and tell us about your equipment.
Well, this is a typical Kamado cooker that I bought in a big box home improvement store about 5 years ago. We've cooked a lot of great meals on it out here, and I've learned a great deal about how to improve my own smoking game through the meals that we've cooked. it's a great opportunity for us out here, and it's a great setting here
Sure.
here in the yard. So why don't I know we've salted the meat already. Why don't we open it up and take a look at what we've got going on here?
Sure. All right, I want to take this opportunity while we're at it to go ahead and give a little love to our sponsor, Katura. You know, they donated this hot coon cleaver to us, which we've been using throughout the course of the day and will continue to use. It's a phenomenal product. Again, you guys need to go check them out at www.katuraknives.com and see what they've got to offer. I know they're about to bring in a bunch of these bad boys, so get one while you have the ability because they sell out quick. Now, if you guys want to take a look at the meat itself, we went ahead about 15-20 minutes ago and salted this. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is to sweat your meat ahead of time. You know, putting that salt on, giving it that 10-15 minutes to pull some of that additional moisture out. Also, most of your bacteria or anything that may grow on your meat, that has a tendency to kind of sweat out too. And also, it gets the tenderization process starting and something. Now, I have prepared already, and ahead of time, a Camelli Sunelli spice mix. So, Camelli Sunelli spice mix is actually a Georgian spice mix. So, to bring it back to Europe again, which this dish is especially, revolved around. That's where the flavors are coming from. It's a blend of 9 essential spices, and it's traditionally used with European-style venisons and red meats. In this case, it's got your summer savory, it's got your coriander seed, it's got your celery seed, your dried basil, parsley, bay leaf, blue fenugreek, marigold, and it's just going to leave like a really nice herbaceous flavor. And we're using oak, which has a tendency to have a little bit more of a bite than like your pecan would or your apple would, but this spice mix will allow you to absorb a little bit of that bite and actually create a really nice balanced flavor. So we're going to go ahead and season this meat now. Let it sit for about another 30-40 minutes to absorb some of that, and then go from there. Alright, so guys, the next step is going to be to go ahead and start preparing for this smoker, which means heating up the charcoal. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring that up to Matt, and before I do, I want everyone to see this wood chips that I have here. This is what we prepared for the smoking. It's really important to go ahead 35-45 minutes beforehand. Get these wood chips like soaking in some water, nice and damp. That way we can help modulate the smoke and the temperature throughout the course of the process. But Matt, if you want to go ahead and just break down the heating of the coals.
Sure. What I've done is use my my wife's gas grill we've had for about 20 years now. It's a poor horse of a gas grill, and we use the side burner to light up our chimney full of charcoal briquettes, and they're just about ready for us to bring over and put into the smoker so we can get this base laid out and put these wood chips on to start our smoke.
Yeah, it's really important to go ahead and contain our heat ahead of time before we even get the meat on the grill. By then, the spice mix, the Camelli Sunelli, should be nice and absorbed into at least the first few layers of this tissue. So, as the smoke goes through, it's able to complement the flavor profiles instead of taking it away. Because oak can be a little bit overwhelming. That's why in the lighter the meat, start adding some of your pecan, maybe some apple wood. Just be a little bit more cautious. The wood you choose is so important. But thankfully, we are using venison, so we have a lot more liberty than you would with other proteins. All right, so Matt, we got some fire?
We got some fire.
All right, let's bring it in. Spark, so to speak. Exactly. Tree, where's my film, man?
In my back pocket.
What's up? We are here. All right, so here we're going to add about 5 or 6 of the larger waterlogged oak pieces, and our smoker, our grill here, was at a little over 400 degrees. Now once we opened it up and we started adding this wood, it's going to bring the temperature all the way down to about 250 immediately, but then it's going to rise quickly. So make sure that you're venting on the underside of your egg or your rear smoke or your rear air intake is going to be trimmed down enough, because remember, the more air that's flowing through your smoker, the higher the heat's going to be. So I'm going to wait about 3 minutes, and once I get those going, I'm going to kind of close up my venting valves. I'm going to get a lot of smoke billowing through. That metal grating will still have enough heat on it to give me the sear marks that I'm looking for, and still produce the amount of smoke I want. Because it's really important, especially with these smaller pieces, that we maintain that 200 degree temperature. And as soon as they hit 125 degrees, I'm taking them off and I'm letting them rest. These larger pieces naturally take longer than the smaller, which also means they get to carry a little bit more smoke than those smaller pieces. So these are going to have a little bit more of that oak flavor, so you actually get the variant. So later on you'll notice I use the smaller pieces for appetizers and these larger pieces for the main course. This is all pretty self-explanatory. I toasted those roasted edamames and peppercorns together, and then just blended all the products together with a little bit of the olive oil, and then poured the rest of the olive oil into the chute for emulsification purposes. Now what you're not seeing is I'm boiling that Seiga pasta in salt water. Now once that pasta is perfectly al dente, I want to make sure to put a couple tablespoons of this pesto into a metal bowl while the pasta is still hot. That way it gets nice and coated, because you really want the pasta to absorb the flavor, because this pesto has a lot of complexity. It's just truly delicious. You'll notice, just like the previous reduction, it's really important to maintain that temperature. This is only 500 to 600 milliliters of champagne versus 1.5 liters, so it's going to be a much quicker reduction. This one only took about 30-40 minutes max. Again, be very cautious of your temperature. Get it nice and reduced. You don't want to burn the bottom of it, and you don't want it to become too jammy, so you'll notice that texture at the end. And just go ahead and strain it out. Add that brown sugar right towards the end. That way it's sweetened up to taste. If you'd like to add a little bit more, if you want a little bit sweeter, that's up to you, but I know I like some of the acidity. So as you watch this finish reducing, if you guys would like, leave a comment for me if you want to see me cook something, special or in particular. I have access to pretty much anything in the world, and I do specialize in exotic fare. So reach out. Anything that you might be excited about, as long as it's within legal limits, I've got no problem putting something together for y'all. Again, thank you, and let's finish this up. Get to the plating.
right, so this is the final plate. Bon appetito, folks. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you learned something. And you get a chance, go check out our friends at Broken Arrow Ranch, and you've got to try this fallow deer. They have a few other items too. They're just amazing products. I mean, this plate overall, just what a balanced flavor of savory and sweet and acid, and the game that comes from that fallow deer is just absolutely amazing. And then, man, that burnt rosemary, there's nothing that smells better in a combination with these pairings. So once again, guys, please subscribe, like, and share this to your friends. Let's get some folks excited about what we're doing. And until the next video, thanks again.